Alright you guys, welcome, and today I would like to analyze one of my games that I just played today, in fact, in a tournament that's taking place right now, the Washington International, and it's going on in close to DC, the capital of the United States, and that's also the reason why I've not been posting that much lately, because I've been traveling and I've been busy on the road, but now I played an interesting game today, so I want to share it with you guys. So let's get to it. I was playing with the white pieces against Carissa Yip. Carissa is rated 2300, young talent from the United States. And she played the dragon variation. And I went for bishop e2, which I quite like. It's somewhat of a sideline, but it has its venom, and one advantage is that the black players usually don't know it as well. So this I had all seen before in a game a few years ago. Now h4 is still a theory I knew. h5, f4, queen a5, and here I took some time to remember because I knew there were some ideas connect to rook hf1 with f5, but it all didn't quite seem to work out, and I found the correct move here is to just play prophylactically first play a3. And now if black goes b5, which is a typical response here, typical way to attack, now f5 would be very strong, followed by rook h3 and attack. And now it's important that this fifth rank is also blocked for the queen. So a3 is just a useful waiting move. Carissa played rook fc8, which is also a natural move, and here I played another useful waiting move, king b1. The king is usually better on b1 anyway, and here I'm introducing a new idea as well. Let's say black plays a move like rook ab8. Now one idea I can flirt with is bishop takes f6 and knight d5. Very common, very typical idea in the dragon to play like this, attacking the queen, and if queen takes d2, which should be played, then white is this intermediate check. Black should take, because if king g7 I can give another intermediate check on h5. And black would end up in this endgame where he's worse, or she. In this case with the weakness on d6. So just a new idea to introduce into a position. My opponent played bishop c4, and here I first want to go bishop f3, but I chose not to do it because e5 would be quite strong, I think. And I did not want that to happen. So I played e5 myself, but it turns out that f5 was even stronger. And I'm not sure why I disregarded this idea actually. Well, I remember that for a short moment I thought knight takes e4 would be possible, but it actually is not possible. Well, only learned this after the game. So this is what I saw, bishop takes d4, now if rook takes d4, bishop takes c4 wins, bishop takes e2 regains the piece, but white can play bishop takes c4, and here I stopped. I didn't really look at this so carefully, otherwise I would have seen that b3 wins a piece here on d4. So this doesn't work, and if black plays other moves like, I don't know, bishop takes e2, queen takes e2, knight g4, well there's knight d5, and white is doing really well here actually. In general, white will be able to take on g6, and simply the black king will be much weaker than the white king. This is the general problem here for black. So f5 was a good move. E5 is also not bad, but black's staying in the game here. Knight d5, and here I made a mistake. I should just take on d5 actually. Queen has to take back, and now bishop f3, and I saw this, but I thought I can be smart and I can do it in an even better way. But this would have been already really good. And it's surprising to me. You look at this position, you think maybe, okay, black should be fine, right? He has this weakness, he can attack, his pieces are actively placed. But if you ask the computer says white is almost winning here already, because his attack will be quite strong with g4. Simple as that. The white king is so much safer, and king safety is all that matters in chess. So here the attack will be very strong for white, for example like this, just rook h1. White has all the time, black is not able to create any counterplay anytime soon. We'll follow with h5, open up some files, and the attack will be irresistible. I played bishop f3 instead because I thought that she had to take on c3 anyway. And I thought this would be a better version of my bishop on c3, which is actually not even the case. I can also go g4 here, be much better, but this is not as good as the other position. In any case, she surprised me completely, played knight c7. I thought this move would not be possible because the pawn is hanging on b7, plus I'm winning in exchange. First I thought for a moment I blundered, which was naive of course. Then I took a lot more time and I realized, what am I doing now? She plays knight e6 and I cannot take on b7 because rook a b8, and I want to show you some variations I calculated here. White actually has many ways to play this. Let's first look at the obvious move, bishop takes c8. The problem is queen takes a3, threatening mate. And here, different ways to deal with this. b3 would be possible, but now I saw this, black can sacrifice more material and wins the queen at least, and I thought, okay, this is not what I'm going to. This is not a winning attempt, so let's stop here. Another move that I first thought was good, queen c1, stopping the mate, looks good, right? But then I noticed bishop h6. Ooh, that's really an unpleasant move. But, and this is just some craziness I want to show you, I calculated some more, bishop c5 here, and queen takes c3, rook d8 check, king h7, that's where I stopped. King g7, by the way, wouldn't be possible because of bishop takes e7, it's so random, but this just works because of checkmate. But king h7, this is where I stopped and I thought, okay, this looks like I'm losing. But this is actually still equal, as computer shows. And I just want to show some lines here. Bishop a2 check, king a1, so the queen cannot remove itself from the attack with check. Queen a5, bishop c3, queen a4. Most of this is only moves for both sides, right? Such a random position. Now rook h8, takes, king g8, bishop d7 again, only move. Knight b5 takes, rook takes. Now e6 I think is also only move. Bishop takes, king b1, queen a2, king c1. Now white is threatening checkmate for a change. And yeah, this is supposedly now about equal. Somehow white plays at b3 or something like that. Well, okay, I did not see that far. In either case, this seemed too dangerous, so I didn't do it. Back to this position though, there are other moves here available as well, and one cool move is knight d5. Queen takes d2, knight takes e7 check. And here I thought king h7, king f8 is also possible, but king h7, rook takes d2. Now the rook is attacked twice, so black doesn't have time to take the bishop, but rook e8. Knight c6, rook takes b7, knight a5. I saw this position and I thought, okay, not sure what's going on here, but computer sets might be even a little bit better for white, but it's very messy obviously against the two pieces. So I did not go for this. I played rook he1, which is a sensible move. Would have been better to start with g4 actually. So rook he1 is somewhat of an inaccuracy. g4 was the move to play. Rook h1, now she relatively quickly played knight e6 and then I played g4 and we transpose. After g4 black should also go knight e6. But here black had something better, rook d8 would be better to play first. Anyways, let's see a game, knight e6, g4. Now here rook d8, threatening the bishop, so I play queen e3. And now she took. And already this position is somewhat difficult for black, because I'm threatening to continue my attack and I'm very stable in the center. Black's not able to win this crucial pawn on e5. So b5 she played, but now I return to f3 and I'm actually playing on the other side of the board, winning the pawn on a7. Rook takes d1, rook takes d1, and here black absolutely had to play b4, which I also expected, but she did not play this. I wanted to play, well, I wasn't sure yet. I thought bishop b6, but this endgame is not giving white that much, because rook b8 is unpleasant. So best would be to play a takes b4, queen takes b4, and once again continue with the attack. Even here, continue with the attack. and white is up a pawn as well. Still pretty messy. It feels like black has definitely chances to stay in the game, to fight here. She played bishop takes e5, which I was very happy to see, and actually I could win here pretty much on the spot. I played knight d5, which is a good move, but it would have been better to first play bishop b6 and then play knight d5, which I also considered, but I thought it wouldn't really change that much, but it does. Here it's just too overwhelming. I threaten knight takes e7, threatening to take the bishop maybe as well, and compared to in the game, black will not be able to defend this. It's too much. So here after knight d5, the difference is that here the queen can come back to c7 and also win a tempo attacking the pawn on c2. So I had to make a choice. c3 is what I played. Also considered bishop b3, but I didn't like knight c5. I saw this is also good for me, but I didn't necessarily want to go for the opposite colored bishop. So it's also looking pretty good here with h5. But I liked c3 because I'm keeping my bishops, and I love the bishop pair here, which is very dangerous against the king. So I liked c3. Knight f4. Bishop b3. Now I return here. My king still is very safe, especially with this light squared bishop. Nothing can happen really. I just have to watch out for some sacrifice here, but this is rather not possible right now. Bishop d6, bishop b6. So here I repeated moves because we were both low on time and I was low on time. This is just a useful technique for you guys to remember. If you can repeat moves, do it, because it will save you some moves that you need to get to the 40th move to get more time. And here I was looking at a position and I thought, okay, there's got to be something. I was thinking about moves like rook g1, even queen g1, but I said, okay, come on, it's got to be this move. Let's go, h5, let's go. And this is correct. Opening up the black king. G takes h5 just cannot work because rook g1, I didn't even consider this move really. So she took with the knight, and now bishop d4 would have been very strong. But queen h6 was also good. The point is that queen takes b6 would be answered with queen takes g6, and just everything falls apart. So the reason why actually bishop d4 is stronger than queen h6, that black can still hold on here by giving the exchange like this. This is not what she did, and this should be also winning for white, but this was the best defense. She played e6, and here I played rook g1, which is fine. Bishop takes e6 was also possible. Somehow, well, I did not really realize that here after rook g1, I'm also threatening to take on e6. So bishop f8 or any move does not really help because I'm taking on e6, and then I'm going to give checkmate on the h file. So I was a little bit, well, not a little bit, I was pretty low on time. So I think I played rook g1 with under a minute on the clock, which is not great having a very sharp position, but for her it was also very difficult to defend, obviously, and in fact there's no defense here. This position is lost. She played bishop f8, and I took the simplest way here, I would say. Rook takes g6 would be also possible. The point, this was by the way the threat, rook takes g6 and black cannot take because of bishop takes e6 checkmate. But here, you know, you have to consider bishop g7, knight g7, and well, it all works for white, but queen takes h5 is pretty simple, since right now my piece up, and after queen takes b6 I have another strike, rook takes g6. And here she took. If bishop g7, this would be the best way to play. I could just return with the rook and I would have a very good attack, but I think I would have played queen e5, because here I'm threatening mate, so I'm forcing this trade, and I will take off the queens, and we get into this endgame where I'm going to win the pawn, and this is just winning because black will need a long time to win this bishop for the pawn, and in the meantime I can push my pawns forward, and 3 pawns against the bishop is just too much, so this is winning. This would have been the simplest way. She took, but now after queen takes g6 it's all over. She played bishop g7, king h8 doesn't change anything because I'm threatening mate here, and if bishop g7 is queen h5 followed by checkmate. Also important that black doesn't have any checks, right? Queen g1 is covered. So she played bishop g7. First I thought, okay, I can just take here, trade into the endgame, win the pawn and win, but I realized that bishop takes e6 is a little bit stronger because it forces resignation on the spot. King f8, there's queen f7, king h8, queen h5, we already know, so there's nothing for black to do except for give up the queen, but then I would also win the rook next move. So an exciting game with a happy end. For me, actually, it was quite a decent game. I have to pat myself a little bit on the back here. Despite the fact that I made it a bit too exciting for my taste, I could have played maybe a bit quicker, and also knight c7 was a very nice move she played there, to which I didn't react in the best way, but overall felt like a nice dragon Sicilian game that I want to share with you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions, and well, maybe I should say a few words about the tournament. 4 rounds so far have been played. I won this one, drew the other one out of 3, so I have 2.5 out of 4. Not much has happened. Playing quite solidly, but yeah, I need to beat some more players, so we'll see if I can do that. Alright, you guys, see you next time. Bye bye.